Alright everybody, welcome back to the Caterpillar generator set project. It's been a while since I did any work on this beast here. It's been a long, busy summer, and I haven't had much time to devote to this thing, unfortunately. But today I do. It's actually starting to get nice out. Done with all this hot, humid weather, it seems. Sorry about the wind noise, but it's the time of year. So, today's project, today's goal is to get number 3 piston out. So I've got a few things here that I'm going to use to do that. We're going to go with the short hydraulic ram and the porta power pump. Got a couple blocks of wood here. Got an aluminum press block, you could call it. And then 1-inch thick piece of steel to bridge the gap over the crankshaft throw. Again, this is the piston, this is the cylinder that we've got to get the piston out of. The generator is covered up because I had some spotty rain showers moving through, or at least it's forecasted to be, so it's one less thing to cover up. Alright, so let me show you what we're working with. Alright, so if you haven't been following this video series here, pretty much got this unit, this Caterpillar generator set from 1939. Pistons 3 and 4 were rusted in their bores from water entering the exhaust and filling up the bores. Piston and rod number 4 are already out. They came out fairly easily with essentially a big lever arm on the inspection port here, pushing the rod up. Number 3 was a little bit more trying and a little bit less compliant than number 4, although number 3's bore appears better than number 4's bore. See, that pitting is pretty rough. Obviously a new sleeve is going to be needed for that one, and number 3 as well. Had no success with the lever arm on number 3 as I did with 4. So you can see I've got both bearing surfaces protected with rags taped on there. So what I'm going to be doing here, I've got some wood on the base of the pan, some nice hardwood there. So I'm going to place these blocks on either side of the connecting rod throw, or the crank throw rather, and bridge that gap between them, one here and then one in the back, with that 1-inch piece of plate, and that's going to keep it well above the level of the rod throw, or the crank throw. Then, using this aluminum slab here, this notch is just drilled in here to make clearance for the bearing shell locator, which I'm not even going to try to show you. Well, maybe I can. Make clearance for that right there. This will also allow me to put all the force directly in the center of the connecting rod and directly vertically instead of applying force to the outside of the rod journal there. So pretty much metal slab, aluminum block in there, and little hydraulic ram to put some direct inline vertical force on that rod, get it to budge. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I should have measured this, but I've been tapping on this piston. I say tapping, I've been hitting the top of this piston with an oak block and a mini sledgehammer to try to loosen it up a little bit, and if I'm not mistaken, it did move down a little bit, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, but I can't confirm that. But I could not get it to move back up the bore with the lever arm. So we're going to go with the hydraulic method. So stay tuned. Okay, I think I got you guys the best camera angle possible here. So I'm going to go ahead and put these blocks in. this bridge. It's just 4 pieces of 1/4-inch flat plate that I just welded together. A little bit ugly, but they're together. I didn't have any 1-inch material of the appropriate width. So just a bridge there. It's not resting on the connecting rod throw, or the crankshaft throw. I keep saying connecting rod. Now I'm pushing directly down on the oil pan here, and this is a cast iron oil pan, so we are fairly close to the edges, the internal edges, so I'm mildly concerned, but I think we're going to be okay. I'll just use my judgment to see. I'm going to need a little piece there. I'll just use my judgment on how much force I apply with this little ram here. This might be kind of a finicky operation, so give me a little second here. Where's that locator pin at? Am I in your way? No. Oh, I think it's in it right there. So, got that. And it just so happens that the little ram's got a divot in it. Actually, I think it's going to be too tall with the little piece of wood. That fit in there pretty well. And a little bit of clearance. This ram's got a very short stroke. I think it's like 1/2 inch or 7/16 or something like that. Some weird number. So let me raise it up a little bit. Get that seated. Actually, it feels like it's not seated. I didn't have any round stock larger than this piece of aluminum, or at least nothing in a soft metal. So I would have liked to go with something larger diameter. That feels like it's got it. A little bit of pressure there, but it's not in the groove. I'm just using my judgment to see that the rod's about vertical. It's not toward the back or to the front at all. Appears to be that way. Alright. Start applying a little bit of force. Now that I think about it, it would have been nice to have a gauge on this hydraulic line to see what kind of pressure I'm putting here. So here we go. A little bit more. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, something moved. Oh, I think it's bumping up. Definitely didn't sound like a crack of an oil pan. Oh, yeah, that's definitely the piston rod. Yep. Yeah. I think I'm at the end of my stroke. Oh, you see it all spring back a little bit there? There's a little flex. That might be in the wood. That is those blocks are softwood there, the 2 vertical blocks. It might even be a little bit of flex in the pan, but I think that pan's about 3/8 of an inch thick on the vertical section. And this ram is not spring return. So alright, let's try this again. I'll put a little block in there, get it a little higher. There's that. Like I said, this is kind of a fiddly operation. Although it's a big engine, this handhole's not the biggest. I think that block's too tall. What is it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, see, even that little block is too tall. It's got this ram's got a very short stroke. This one's not the same, I think. Yeah, stand by while I get something thinner to slide in there. Alright, I'm back and found another piece of that plate. Not the same length, actually. Let's see if we can make it move a little bit more. Should have come up with a way to zip tie that aluminum block onto the rod so I wouldn't have to keep fiddling with it. Give it a little bit more. Yeah. It's definitely requiring some pressure to push that up out of there. End of the stroke again. Alright, well, you guys get the point. I'll come back in a little bit. Alright, well, you can clearly see number 3 here has come up to within about a 1/4 inch or so of the deck of the block here. So it got pretty easy toward the end there to lift it with the cylinder. And I think at this point I'm just going to try to use the lever and push it the rest of the way. So stand by. That's coming along. Let's see here. Again, just trying to find blocks that'll fit in here is a bit difficult. Let's try that. Pretty much free, it seems. I think the problem that I'm about to have is the same that I had with the number 4 cylinder. And that is that the rust and the junk and everything that is, let's see. The rust and everything that's in the lower part of the cylinder drags on the connecting rod, bottom end, when I try to pull it up. Yeah. At this point I'm not really concerned about anything but the piston, because the liners are getting replaced and so are the rings. I gotta find a way to lift this out. Yeah. The rust down at the bottom is the wide end of the connecting rod is maybe only 3/16 of an inch smaller across than the diameter of the cylinder bore. So anything in there really prevents it from easily being pulled out. And it's a real pain to try to clean that. Just kind of sitting there. Might have to use the ram the rest of the way. Hit it with just a tall block. Try the lever again. A little bit more. Might be able to send it right out. Long block for that. It's coming out. Just doesn't want to. We're this close and it still doesn't want to come out. Like I said, this is kind of a fiddly operation, as there's not all that much space in the crankcase. Can't leave that. Look at the size of this thing. Currently just stepping on the lever arm to try to get it to budge just a bit. I'm almost at the end of the rust. Fighting every step of the way. Almost got it though. Almost got it. Reset my blocks. Give her a little bit more. I'm okay. Alright. You guys will see it when it comes out. Alright, here it is, the final push. I hope. That's it. Number 3. Let me get you guys off the tripod there. Let's take a look at this. Do an initial assessment of this piston. Oh, let's look down the bore. Sorry, the clouds have kind of moved back in. You see that rust and the gunk down there. That's what I was pushing that rod through. You can see the slots it made. Nowhere near as pitted as number 4. But it was certainly entrenched in there. Spray this off real quick. Similar to number 4. Some staining right here. Staining here. Yeah, a little bit of light pitting here. Definitely some scoring right here. Let's have a look at the other side. Sorry about that wind. Kind of ugly over here. Feels like a bit more than staining here. Yeah, oops, sorry, glare. Yeah, definitely. Oh, nothing I can't scrape off with my fingernail. Definitely some corrosion here. That, I imagine this right here is what was holding this whole operation up. This is where it was actually stuck to the sleeve. So, but all the rings are pretty much free. We'll have to see what availability is on pistons. I already ordered my new sleeves from Cat, as well as a bunch of other parts. They should be here this week. I'll have to see what the availability is. Ugh, can't speak. The availability is of pistons. Couldn't find them readily available in the aftermarket, but to be honest, I didn't even call Cat about them yet. Up until this point, I was thinking I was going to be able to reuse them. I might still be able to buff this up and check it, and it might be okay, but time will tell. So, stay tuned.